Welcome to the conclusion of Shark Week on Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Deep Blue Sea. Bigger, faster, sharkier, and meaner.
Directed by Renny Harlin, starring Thomas Jane, Saffron Burrows, Samuel Jackson, and LL Cool J. Deep Blue Sea is about a scientist trying to discover a cure for Alzheimer's. She decides to experiment with the brains of sharks. In doing so, she ends up creating super smart sharks that are trying to escape the facility. So what did we like?
Finally, after a week of shitty fucking movies, we got a good shark movie. It feels so good to have an actual quality shark movie with practical sharks that look dope as fuck.
And a story that makes the most sense in any of the shark films we've seen. And the focus of this film is on the sharks. And the sharks are the problem.
Sounds like I missed an amazing week.
Yeah, where the fuck have you been?
I've been swimming out here by myself. You guys leave me in the dark. Finally found you guys on this fucking Aquatica.
It explains why your hair looks so surfery.
This film, it was made in 1999, and damn it still holds up. The story, the look, like I was really impressed with the sharks in that they went practical.
Like the first time we see a shark, it's a tiger shark. +1 already, because we don't get to see anything other than mako and great whites, ever. Like the whole production, all of the sets, they looked incredible. It almost looked like something straight out of Waterworld. Interior shots almost looked like Star Wars or like Firefly. It was really cool.
I really enjoyed that it was non-stop action. From the beginning, we get a really suspenseful beginning. And then even as they're kind of building the characters, we get suspenseful shots where the guy's swimming in the water with sharks. And you never know when the actual action and killing is gonna begin.
And when it does, it's just fucking explosions and water rushing pretty much until the end of the movie. It is a non-stop action movie.
I really enjoyed the performance by LL Cool J. For the majority of this film, he was by himself, but he had his own narrative and really explained his thoughts and how crazy the situation was. And he had his little pet bird, so he wasn't alone. And also, he was a badass that killed sharks.
Carter's supposed to be the guy who's killing all the sharks in this, and LL Cool J just steps right in and cooks up a storm.
I thought it was great seeing familiar actors. I mean, LL Cool J, he's a rapper. We got Samuel L. Jackson, the badass mofo. Thomas Jane, the motherfucking Punisher, and that gigolo from Hung. And Michael Rappaport from Law and Order.
I thought it was kind of cool that we had Stellan Skarsgård, and the fact that him and Samuel L. Jackson were both in Marvel movies together, and then they started off in this film, in Deep Blue Sea. That's how deep their connection was.
It's almost as if this movie was a good foundation for a lot of their careers.
Yeah, like everybody in this movie like went on to have like fruitful acting careers, and whether they were rappers, they may have just like killed their rap career by doing this, but that's fine. LL Cool J did have a really sweet credit song, so there's that. But you know, I miss Phenomenon, like my favorite song ever.
Something like a phenomenon. Something like a phenomenon.
So what didn't we like?
I wasn't a huge fan of like 3 of our main cast. The 2 women, I just thought their characters were shit. I also thought that the other guy, the Marvel guy, I thought he was terrible as well. And to think of it, Thomas Jane, his character was okay, but he was like obnoxiously an asshole. And I'm not saying like the actors are shit in any way. I just mean their characters are boring. So sorry, everybody.
I thought his backstory was rather weak, how Samuel Jackson just kind of figured out that he's an ex-con just by like looking at his equipment. It was a little too fishy for me.
Oh!
I completely agree with the character development. A lot of these characters were one-dimensional, but they tried to like develop them into someone that we would care about. They just did it with like a couple one-liners saying one thing like, oh, you have a bad past. All right, let's move on to...
All right, we've established that.
Yep.
I don't know anyone's fucking character name.
Yeah.
I think Carter's the only name I know.
And LL Cool J is Preacher. That's...
Debatably. Yeah. The rest of this week, we're just like, too much fucking story. We don't want to know these characters. We just want sharks and explosions. And we got it, so there's not really that much you can bitch about here.
No.
We just have to we have a dislike section, so we have to kind of talk.
Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings.
Revisiting Deep Blue Sea is something that I was a little worried about because movies that we go back to watch again don't always hold up. And I'm gonna be honest, this film holds up. You get cool sharks, You get awesome explosions, great kills, and this wicked facility. It is just a great film. And with that being said, I'm going to give this 5 tasty LL Cool Whips out of 5.
Deep Blue Sea was certainly the best shark movie that we saw all Shark Week. We've been fooled before while watching movies that we loved back in the day, and watching them now, it's really tough because, like, you know, shit ages. This didn't, because they didn't resort to the crappy CGI that they had in 99. I mean, there's a couple scenes, but it was still way better than Asylum stuff. It was non-stop action, it was high production value. What more could you want from a shark movie? So I'm gonna give this 4.5 tiny wines, I don't know, out of 5.
Growing up, I remember watching this movie lots of times with my friends and having a great time. And I'm glad that I was able to do it again with my 2 best bros here. Deep Blue Sea held up. I loved it. I loved the acting. I loved the action. Non-stop. It had a great pace. And I really loved that they used practical sharks, because we didn't get any of that weird CG bullshit. You can tell it's fake and kind of ruins it. I really enjoyed the use of shadows that had the sharks were going underneath the water, so they didn't always have to show a fin or the actual shark. And I liked the use of comedy. With all that action, it relaxed the mood, and it made it a great film. So with all that said, I'm gonna have to give this 5 badass motherfuckers out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching, and thank you for joining us once again on Shark Week. I hope you enjoyed all of the reviews we did. We didn't actually enjoy all of the films we watched, but we do this for you, and thank you for coming back and watching. And if you haven't watched them, go back and watch them. We watched some great movies. Check them out. Shark and Saw is actually probably one of the best So Bad It's Good movies, so check that one out. And subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond. From here on out, it's probably not going to be shark movies until Sharknado, but, you know, we got other indie horror goodness for you. And hopefully a little more Colin and his hair. Badass motherfuckery.